First off, before we get started in on this awesome topic, I just want to say we did it. We're at 150 subscribers, my very first sub goal. And as promised, I am purchasing an ice tub and I will post a video of my very first plunge ASAP. Thank you all so much for subscribing, and I envision that one day you will be very proud to say that you were one of the very first 150 subscribers to this channel. If you could live forever, would you want to? Would you only want to if you could stop and or reverse aging? If you could, but you had to leave your body behind, would you do it? It's probable that in the not too distant future, these possibilities might become available to us. So, it makes sense to start seriously considering the answers that we have to these questions. I think another great question to start off this conversation is, what am I referring to when I say you? We've brushed on this topic in a previous video before, the two ideas of physicalism and idealism. Basically the question of, are you a brain that produces consciousness, or are you consciousness that happens to be currently in possession of a brain? Before I give you my answer to that question, I want to tell you about Jasper, an AI assistant that has read 10% of the internet and is optimized to help you write content for your social media posts, your blog, or your website copy. A lot of times when I feel stumped writing content for my channel, I use Jasper to help me out with a lot of the legwork. It really reduces the amount of time that it takes to make videos like these, and is part of the reason that I can come out with one every day. If you want to try out Jasper for yourself, I put a link in the description so that you can start your free trial. So back to the question. For me, it's the latter. I believe that we are consciousness itself, and that our brains are more akin to receivers than they are generators. Which is not to say, however, that I don't think that the brain and the mind aren't a big part of the equation. If you had your mind wiped, then you wouldn't remember who you were, but you would still be conscious. So in my opinion, it's fair to say that you are more consciousness than you are your life experiences and memories. The connectome of neurons that makes up your mind. I imagine that most people who would want to upload their consciousness into or onto a digital medium would want to bring with them their life experiences and memories that make us all feel like ourselves. If we couldn't bring them with us into the robot or the computer, whatever it may be, then surely fewer people would elect to undergo the process. And if we did develop the technology to accurately scan the mind and then copy and paste it into the robot or computer, would it actually even be us? Or would it just be a copy? Would we cease to exist and be replaced by an accurate imitation that acts and thinks just as we would, even going so far as to believing itself that it is us? This is why I think it's important to consider how what we actually are fits into the equation. For example, if we are only the brain, then is it even possible to experience being in that new body or digital environment? There are three things that need to be figured out to get closer to this becoming a reality. Number one is to figure out if consciousness definitely is a phenomena outside of the functioning brain. Two, the technology to accurately scan the mind or the connectome of neurons. And three, the technology to receive that enormously complex scan. I want to tell you about the things that lead me to believe that that consciousness is more than just a product of a functioning brain. The first of which is the many anecdotes of children who remember their past lives accurately enough to be able to find information on the people or even their families of the people that they used to be, and then go talk to them and discuss memories that they definitely shouldn't have. The second thing is, and you can look both of these up, I suggest that you do, is that the CIA has released declassified documents detailing successful experiments on remote viewing, which is where people, through some sort of meditative process, are able to actually see distances far away and detail accurate descriptions of what they are seeing there. How could that be possible if it weren't the case that consciousness isn't necessarily bound to the brain? There are also several instances of people having out-of-body experiences while they're being resuscitated, from which they brought back details of conversations and things that were said around them while they were dead. There could, of course, be an explanation for each of these examples, but I believe that they could very well point to the idea that consciousness, the mind, and the brain are all very distinctly different things. And if you're a strict physicalist, you're probably scoffing at my use of anecdotes as evidence for this possibility. There's also quantum physics, and many have speculated that the results of the dual slit experiment actually provide evidence for the existence of consciousness. That hasn't, as far as I am aware, that hasn't been proven conclusively or disproven. These are figured out, and many speculate that it won't be that long, relatively, before they are. What would be stopping you from wanting to upgrade to a more physically and mentally capable body, or an altogether digital environment? What sounds the most appealing to you? Getting an upgraded body with which to continue participating in this world, and a new world, a digital, completely simulated universe in some sort of supercomputer? Or, of course, to stay in your current body and ride it out. The idea that we could migrate into some sort of metaverse simulation could be an explanation for the Fermi paradox, or the question of where are all the alien civilizations? Could be that once a species becomes technologically advanced enough, they decide to build inward, not out. If we wanted to create a utopia, then it might actually just be a lot easier to simulate a whole new world and then move into it. It would be a world that was more malleable and consistent. We wouldn't have to worry about death or natural disasters or many of the other problems that come with living in this world. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you enjoyed this video. And as always, memento mori, or remember death, the Stoic practice that helps us to live more fully by keeping our mortality in mind. Take care of yourself so you don't miss the boat on the mass migration into the metaverse. All right, bye-bye.